I just want to raise the issue of something that Minister Darragh O'Brien raised in the Dáil last week in response to a question from Owen O'Brien. And he said that a report carried out by the Economic and Social Research Institute did not find significant rent arrears during the first 3 months of COVID-19. At that stage, the report hadn't been published, but it was published yesterday. And rather than the report finding no significant rent arrears, I think the spin on it was slightly different to what the authors said. What they said was that before COVID, there was about 70,000 households who did not have sufficient income remaining after housing costs to cover a minimum standard of living expenditure before the pandemic. They also suggested that about 1 in 10 non-supported rental households, i.e. people who weren't receiving rent allowance or HAP, missed payments due to financial difficulties prior to the pandemic. And what they said was the very short-term effects unique to the current period in which households have been advised to stay at home and restrict movements. Many non-supported private renters face longer-term structural affordability pressures that are likely to worsen and quickly. And their analysis solely focused on the immediate short-run timeframe, but it's likely that the scale of the COVID shock is such that longer duration of the downturn and the higher the missed payments, and consequently arrears rates will climb. That's very different to what Minister O'Brien said when he didn't find any significant rent arrears. We then cut to the launch of the stimulus plan, and what do we see in it? We see absolutely no support for renters in the stimulus plan, but what we do see is the buy-to-let scheme, which we know from other research 40% of people who are availing of it already have deposits, and that is going to be extended by €10,000. As a result of that, anecdotal evidence is that the price and the cost of new housing has gone up. This week we are going to have the Minister in the House. And we're going to have the Minister in the House for what is a flawed, narrow residential tenancy bill, which doesn't protect renters, but in fact criminalises them. And it applies the eviction ban only until January, but for a very, very narrow cohort of renters who self-declare. It doesn't allow a retrospective self-declaration, and it's not clear what it is. We could have used the stimulus plan for renters and alleviating those arrears, rather than spinning it that there wasn't significant arrears and portions being brought up. Renters are the people in this economy who are most vulnerable, and we know that most renters going into homelessness are coming from the private rented sector. I look forward to discussing that bill, but I look forward to discussing the bill at the end of the week without the spin by the Minister that there is no significant rent arrears gathered.
Thank you, Senator Moynihan.